All right, moving on. We're going to go into each of the colors. So white, blue, black, red, green, colorless. Let's go to white now. White commons. 2 mana backup agent. 2 mana 1/1. Put a counter on target creature. This card's terrible. It does put a counter on things. Iron Shell Beetle is a card they printed many times in the past, and it has always been bad. And it's always a trap card. Always a trap card. This is Iron Shell Beetle. Always bad. Just, 2 mana 2/2s are no good. That's what it is, so. Push you counter on target creature. I thought I was going to say draw a card. It says scry 1. Well, some removals can be stopped with this, not all of them. If it exiles them or it gives them -3/-3, it doesn't stop that. I would expect it just to draw a card. You can be proactive with this. Probably not. It's not Snakeskin Veil level, I guess. 1 mana 0/4. Broker's Initiate has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. 1 mana, so it's a 1 mana 0/4 citizen. You can pay 5 mana to make it +5/+1. It's a little bit better than +5/+1. It could matter. It's a little bit better than +5/+1. It's mostly the +5/+1. It's a really good defensive card. You can suicide this fellow to draw a card. That's pretty funny. With that Streetwise Mentor. This card seems pretty medium, pretty mopey. Don't think you're going to be playing this. But I do like really good defensive cards that can, like, turn the corner. This is a weird card. I don't think they've ever made a card like this before. It's a very weird card. This requires you to play with it to really, like, get a grasp on its power level. I think this guy is bad. I think the potential of activation is actually so much more important than the actual activation. It's like your opponent has a 4/4, you have this, they don't attack, because you have 5 open mana, and then you spend your 5 mana to like cast an instant, right? I think just like the potential of it being activated is probably where a lot of the power lies. Yeah, it's important to note that all the common multicolored creatures are all 2 mana 3/3s. So this blocks all of those, which is nice. Exile target non-land permanent. It's a controller creates a treasure token. It's overcosted removal, and you give your opponent a mana. Ugh. Oof. It might mana fix them too. This is yikes. This is yikes. I don't think I want anything to do with this. You're paying a lot for the silence. That's no joke. If it cost 4, it would be good. Yep. It's the 1 extra mana. The fact that it cost 5 is really bad. Or if it was an instant, it would be good. Sorcery speed. It gets around shield counters. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing it up. It does bypass shield counters. The shield counter only prevents like destroy and damage. Celebrity Fencer. 4 mana Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on this. 4 mana 3/2, you play a 5-drop afterwards, it's a 4/3, you have to play like 2 creatures to get like a medium plus creature. At 3/3, this card would be good. At 3/2, I think this card is just not good enough. Which is run of the mill for white. Because like I said, you generally only play 12 creatures in your sealed decks. Like maybe your white deck, like the thing is white creature decks don't exist because seal doesn't lend itself to creature decks, but spell decks are so much better. 4 mana 2/2, enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. As long as it's your turn, it's a 4/2. Alright. Oh, it's a 2/2 on your opponent's turn. The 2/2, oh no. This reminds me of that 4/2 that you can pay 1 to give it indestructible on your turn, and that card was wildly unplayable. There was a 4/2 that all it asked was 1 mana to make it indestructible, and the card just sucked. Gathering Throng. When there's a battlefield, it's just search your library for any number of cards named Gathering Throng. Oh, no. I'm going to open 1 of these, and my opponent's going to open 3 of these, and it's going to be terrible. Yeah. Weirdly, a limited bomb. Yeah, you can open like 3 or 4 of these in limited in your sealed deck. If you have 2 of them, you probably play them. If you're in the mood. At 3, you definitely play them. At 2, you could maybe not play them. Because if, the times you draw both are so bad. Although I guess it gives you connive food. Right? Because it gets you 2 spells in your hand that you can just discard to get counters on things. Yeah, they're also citizens, yeah. Hold for ransom. 2 mana. The pacifism. That your opponent can pay 7 mana to get rid of it. For real? They can break their guy out of jail for 7 mana, which is hold for ransom, I get it. And you draw a card when they pay the ransom. They don't draw a card, you draw the card. Like, if I play this on my opponent's creature and they pay 7 mana, I draw a card. This card, pacifisms always suck, and this card is one of the most suckiest pacifisms ever. Because when they get paid, they're not tapped after they get bailed, after the ransom is paid, they're just angry and gonna attack you. This is one of the worst ones ever made. I think you might just have to play it, but the card is terrible. I think this card is actually just bad. But you might just have to play it. I don't know. It's awful. 3 mana, 2/1 flyer. When enters the battlefield, gain 1 life and draw a card. This card's good. Well, we found a good card. Yeah, this was, I always joke about it in other sets. What was it, Cloud something? This was a blue card. They color shifted it into white. Yeah, Cloudkin Seer. But Cloudkin Seer was also an elemental in an elemental theme set. So it's actually still probably better. Kill Shot is awful. This card is terrible. These killing attacking creatures, like, creatures do so much more things than just attack you. And this doesn't work well against a lot of things, even because a lot of creatures have attack triggers too. So this card is just terrible. Like, if you're an attacking deck, you don't want any of these cards in your deck. This is a skill testing card that everybody fails because everybody plays it. Card's very bad. Yeah, it's not even exile an attacking creature to bypass shield. +1/+1 enchant creature. You may cast guidance from your graveyard by paying 2 no right. Oh, this card seems like it could be okay. Works really well to connive, right? It's no Griff's Boon, sadly. Griff Boon was like a limited bomb. Griff Boon was like a 9 out of 10. I don't know if you remember Griff's Boon. This is Griff's Boon. They decided to not make a 9 out of 10 card at common. Seems like it could be okay, though. Because you're going to get a +1/+1 counter from connive when you discard this. It'll be okay. Still a 4 out of 10. Raffine's Informant. 2 mana, 2/1 connive. So you draw a card, then if you discard a spell, it's a 3/2. If you don't discard a spell, it's a 2/1. A 2/1 is not worth a card. 2/1, like, into the battlefield, draw a card is wildly unplayable. I don't know if you remember, there's been a host of goblins. I'm not going to go into it in the past. But there's like been a host of like 1 or red 2/1 draw card, discard cards, and they all suck. They're all just like wildly unplayable. This card is better. It's just loot instead of rummage, but I don't know. It's a 2 mana card that lets you like keep a 2-lander. But the thing is, I don't know if you want to discard lands or spells. I think you're just invited to discard spells. 2 mana, 3/2. It's probably good. It's probably good. I think it's good enough to play almost in every white deck. Like, can you imagine playing the color white and not having this card in your deck? Probably not, right? Probably not. Like, how many times are you going to be playing white and have this be in your sideboard? With all these other cards that are between like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, you can imagine playing white and not having the card in your deck. Maybe this card is just bad. I don't know. The more to think about it, I think it's just a bad. I think it's probably a 5. I think I can imagine not playing it. Target creature gets +2/+2. No. So you had a 1/1 flying lifelink. You and target opponent each draw a card. Holy moly. Why does white have to be so bad? A 2-mana flying lifelink for 2 is not bad. Healer's Hawk, to be clear, this card is probably secretly pretty good. Healer's Hawk was the highest win rate common in the set it was in. If my understanding was, if I recall correctly, a common of any color. And this only costs 1 mana more. I mean, 1 mana is a lot, but 1 mana definitely makes or breaks a card. This is probably way better than it looks, and if you just pretend it doesn't have a text box, I'll put it as a 4. I'm willing to be wrong. This might be a 5, but well, this set also adds counters, right? When there's a battlefield, you gain 1 life for each other creature. What on earth is going on? It's other creatures. It doesn't even trigger, it doesn't even gain 1 life off itself. What on earth is this set? I know I say this every set. This is the worst I've ever seen. I know every single set review, you can look at white and say, like, yeah, white is the worst I've ever seen it be. This is the worst. It doesn't even... The 3 terminates it has are freaking Kill Shot, Hold for Ransom, and Buy Your Silence. Like, what on earth is going on? Like, this is secretly your best removal spell. Like, maybe Broker's Initiate is just a 6, but it's just the only thing white has. They have 2-1 flying draw card. They have 2-1 not flying, maybe loot. 3-2, maybe, who knows. And they, like, maybe I draw 3 of these. Maybe I open 3 of these on my seal deck. Like, maybe Hold for Ransom. Wait a minute. So, like, maybe if you hold for ransom a 2 or 3 mana creature, it's, like, pretty good because they would never pay the ransom because like, you know, the card you giving you a card is, and them, like, losing 7 mana is just not worth it, right? So, like, maybe this is, like, the white smother type thing? Maybe? It gets around shield counters? Okay. Only kidnap high value. Well, no, you're supposed to kidnap low value targets. Your opponent will just, that's kind of like the way the card is worded and the way the card plays out is that you're actually incentivized to hold crappy creatures for ransom. Because expensive creatures, they'll actually pay. And that's not the actual output you want. Yeah, to be clear, there's also, like, a ton of sack triggers in this set. There's Casualty for 1. There's an entire mechanic about sacrificing your creatures. Yes, I draw the card. I put this on my opponent's creature, they pay 7 mana, I draw the card. But, like, sacking creatures is a multiple... It's, like, all over the format is sacking creatures, and this doesn't... lets them keep a creature to sacrifice. The card is just awful. I mean, passivisms are always awful. Yeah, this card is just heinous. Yeah, why isn't it just exile the creature? It could just have been a Journey for Nowhere. They can pay 7 to make you kill. Or best of all, it could have been an Oubliette. And Oubliette makes sense. Like, imagine how cool this would have been if it was just Oubliette. I talk about this card all the time. It's like, it's exactly what white should be doing, is Oubliette. It says, when it enters the battlefield, target creature phases out until Oubliette leaves the battlefield. Tap that creature as it phases in this way. This should be white's mechanic from now on, is Oubliette. It should never exile any creature, and it should never pacify any creature. Oubliette should be the standard for all white removal spells. Should be Oubliette. Because, like, your opponent can't sacrifice it for value because it's not in play. Your opponent can't remove it at instant speed and blow you out on combat by blocking because it enters the battlefield tapped. They don't get enter the battlefield abilities. Because this is another huge problem with all the white removal spells. They don't get enter the battlefield abilities. Like, Oubliette is the perfect white mechanic. The actual perfect white mechanic. And they just refuse to use it. Oh, Aldavob, you're right. Sky Crier. Oh, I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that. The deck damage. Think about all the deck damage you can do to your opponent. For every 4 mana you spend, your opponent has its -1 deck health. Like, not only are you gaining health, but your opponent's like losing deck health at the same. You're attacking them from multiple angles. That's crazy for a white common at 2 mana. Think of all the things it could do. You know what would be really cool? Hear me out. What if they just like made a common that said like your opponent can't draw more than 1 card per turn? And then the Sky Crier would be a combo. You combo those 2 together, and then you get to just like, you know, then this card is insane, right? Like, what if there was just like a card that had that text box? Like, what if the Dapper Shieldmate had that text box? Or like, I don't know. Speakeasy Server. What if it said your opponent can't draw more than 1 card per turn? I don't know. Just like... Well, white is disappointing at common. Let's move on to uncommons. Maybe uncommons are where it's at. Costs 1 less for each citizen you control. 3/3? It's not even a 4/4? It's a 3/3? What on earth is wrong with this set? Ballroom Brawlers. Whenever it attacks, Ballroom Brawlers and up to 1 other target creature you control both gain your choice of first strike or lifelink. What? This is awful. 5 mana 3/5. On defense, it does nothing. When this attacks, 1 of your other creatures and this gains first strike or lifelink. So it's like it. I mean, this card is probably way better than it looks, but it looks and reads terribly. You can't race this card, yeah. So it's a 5 mana 3/5 lifelink that gives, but it doesn't work on defense. So lifelink doesn't work on defense, and it lets you give one of your other creatures first strike or lifelink. This is probably gonna be way better than it looks. I'll put it as a 7. I know I just said it was terrible, but like it is. It is an X4 set, so it's gonna just like gain 3 life when it attacks. It's a weird artwork. When Citizen's Crowbar enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green and white citizen. A quick creature has +1/+1 and has... Oh, and attach it. And then a quick creature gets +1/+1 and has sacrifice a crowbar to shard our artifact or enchantment. Oh, this card is like, okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, this card's good. Yeah, it's just... Yeah. Yeah, it's Ancestor's Blade. Ancestor's Blade was insane. Just like strictly better Ancestor's Blade, right? You always get you always get a 2/2, and you can sack the equipment to disenchant, or you can just have a +1/+1. Yeah, this card's good. You found a good white card. All right. Oh, was the Blade Equip 1? Was it? What was the name of the Aeola card? It wasn't. It was a blade, right? As an equipment. Ancestral Blade. Yeah, Ancestral Blade was like a busted common. Yeah, Ancestral Blade was a busted common. This is maybe worse than that. Yeah, this is probably worse than that. Maybe it's not. Maybe being able to disenchant's worth it. Regardless, this card's good. Creature plus equipment's always overperform. A big secretly like OP card. A secretly OP card in previous set was Elven Bow, which was this thing. Well, man, it's like a 3 mana 2/3 reach. That card was like secretly OP. Illuminator Virtuoso, 2 mana 1/1 double strike. Whenever it becomes a target of a spell you control, it connives. This is like a constructed card, right? I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want anything to do with this. It costs 2 less to cast if it targets a red creature. It deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature, and you gain 2 life. The fact that... So this is probably actually good. And the fact that it's a multicolored set means it's going to be pretty easy for this to hit almost like, you know, probably 7 out of 12 or 13 creatures in your opponent's deck. 1 mana is really cheap. And gaining 2 life is super good. And the buyout for this is pretty... 3 mana for a buyout on this is really good. Yeah, this card is actually good. Gideon's Reproach... So, like... I'm not being hypocritical here. I promise you I'm not. So previously in all these other sets, Gideon's Reproach is a card that I've always said it's a terrible white card. And it is a terrible... Like, Gideon's Reproach is a terrible card. But I feel like this is... Gaining 2 life is huge, first of all. Like, the difference between gaining 0 life and 2 life is massive. Like, this is going to play like a Lightning Helix type deal, right? I think this is like closer to Lightning Helix than it is Gideon's Reproach. Yeah, Knockout Blow actually is like a good removal spell. Mage's Attendant. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 blue wizard creature token with 1 mana, sacrifice this creature, counter target non-creature spell. Oh, it makes like a little familiar? Oh no, it's not a familiar, it's a blue wizard. This card's really good. 3/2 and a 1/1. Little 4-spiker. It's a very shapely cat. Wait, why is it a Mage's Attendant? Okay, so the mage... Wait. So the mage is actually the 1/1. Okay, that's really weird. Okay. That's really weird. Yeah, the mage is just some idiot. This card's good. That card's really good. I like it. Return up to 3 target creature cards with Snore. Total mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Snore. Probably 2. It's an uncommon. Yuck. Target creature gets +2/+7 until end of turn. Untap it. Well, Buna Basaiju was in the previous set and it was unplayable, to my surprise. Like, it never came up. And I think this is worse than Buna Basaiju, so... I'm not sure... So Buna Basaiju in the previous set was 1 and a green, untap... Oh yeah, there's this thing. Like, this thing was unplayable. Yeah, I think I died to it once in, like, all my games. And it wasn't even out for Walking Skyscraper. Now, you'll die to this thing, like, I don't know. This card may be better than it looks. Allowing your 2/2 to, like, kill a 4/7 is pretty awesome, actually. Spidery Grasp was a really good card. And I don't know how often it came up. I think it's closer to Spidery Grasp. So this card was actually really good. Because it allows you to trade up. It allows you to, like, 2-drop to block or kill a 4-drop or 5-drop that is blocking it. But Reach is a huge component of Spidery Grasp. You are correct. Reach is a massive component of Spidery Grasp. But this costs 2 mana. Probably bad. Well, no, this works on offense or defense. It doesn't... It has a lot going for it. As far as combat checks go, this is better than normal. Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card instead. Wow. Okay. This seems good. Okay. So the thing about this card that is so delightful is that its ability pays for itself. Because if you've triggered this ability twice, which means you scryed 1 and drew a card, it's actually pretty easy to trigger it again. This card's probably pretty good. No, it's scryed on second. It doesn't count itself. I mean, you play this on turn 3, then you play like 2 creatures on turn 5, and 2 creatures on turn 6, and 2 creatures on turn 7, right? Oh, the third trigger is a scry. Yes, but why would you trigger it a third time? Yeah, I mean, don't trigger it a third time. Don't be dumb. Like, think of an opening where you go turn 3 Rumor Gatherer into turn 4 Mage's Attendant. Draw a card, scry 1, and you have an extra mana to pay for the Attendant. It's a pretty sick opener. I feel like Mage's Attendant should have been a common. White really needed it. Swooping Protector, 4 mana 2/1 flying Another flash flying shielded 2/1. Good. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. Imagine attacking in this format with something that's smaller than a 4/4. Imagine getting punished. This is a good removal spell. It's kill your opponent's attack, like, it's kill your opponent's creature and, you know, have a 0 mana 2/1 flyer left over. This card's good. Yeah, Swooping Protector's good. There's a 3/4 that drains every turn. Why would you attack? Good point. Depopulate. Each player who controls a multicolored creature draws a card, then destroy all creatures. I typically don't like sweepers, and this is no different. Letting my opponent draw a card after I kill all their creatures is pretty awful. The problem with sweepers in general is always that your opponent gets to play to the board first. Like, the board is clear, and then your opponent gets to untap with like 5, 6, 7, 8 mana and like play cards, and you're on the back foot again, right? And then, plus there's blitz in the set, so like if you're counting on your opponent playing a bunch of creatures and then you don't play creatures, and then they attack you down to like, 7 or 8, and then you cast Depopulate, they're gonna draw a card, and they're gonna be able to blitz you out, like blitz you down to like 1, 2, or 3 or whatever, right? And there's a bunch of flash creatures in this set, so like this is sorcery speed. This is just medium minus. I don't want anything to do with this. Extraction Specialist. Oh, and Shield is in this set. Oh my god. But I guess that works both ways. Like, your shielded creatures live, and their shielded creatures live. Maybe this could have upside? Maybe? Like, maybe it's trying to be Doom Blast, draw a card? It could be. You're right. Maybe Shield makes it good. Or does Shield make it bad? It's gotta be bad, right? Closer to bad than good. Extraction Specialist. 3 mana, 3/2 lifelink. Wow. Here's the battlefield. Return target creature mana card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oh, wait, what? That creature cannot attack or block. Wait. That's, okay. It's a really flavorful card. I like it. The face is weird. You're talking about her, you're talking about the little girl's face. Like, what is up with that neck? Yeah, that is kind of weird. I thought it was a good white card. I don't know what mana value 2 or less creature you're getting back is the problem. There's no Spirited Companion in this set, right? So I don't know what the hell you're getting back with it. Even the gold card, the gold card is 3 mana. So like, what do you, there's like, you getting back a Civil Servant? I don't know. We probably are getting back a Civil Servant. Your creature that just died to the 2/1 flash shield, yeah. Fair enough. 3/2 lifelink is also just like baseline pretty good. But I think the Enter the Battlefield ability is going to be really hard to trigger. I'll put this as a 5. I think if you can't use the trigger, I wouldn't bother with this. Giada, Font of Hope, Flying Vigilance 2/2. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with a counter on it for each angel you already control. This card's really good. Even if you have no angels in your deck, you would play this card. 2/2 Flying Vigilance for 2 is really strong. If you have one other angel, the card is already amazing. and makes your other angel come to play the counter on it, right? I mean, this card is just phenomenal. Card's really, really good. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, this thing is a common. Inspiring Overseer. Yeah, this thing's a common. I mean, this thing might be an 8. Like, you're not paying much for this ability, and the ability is, like, super freaking strong. It has so much text. Oh, you can even use it to cast it if you're stuck on 2 lands. You can cast your 3-drop after you attack. Holy moly, it's the complete package. I'm impressed. Yeah, it's a rare. Mysterious Limousine. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to one other target creature until this leaves the battlefield. If a creature is put into exile this way, return each other card exile from Mysterious Limousine to the battlefield under control. This card's terrible. It's a 5-mana 4/4 Banisher Priest. Conditional. Right? It's just a 5-mana 4/4 Banisher Priest. You can flicker your own stuff. That's probably the strongest aspect, is flickering your own things. Like, you Mysterious Limousine, you're Inspiring Overseer, and then you attack, and then you grab one of your opponent's creatures, and then your guy comes back into play and you draw a card, right? That's the joke. It seems like the entire white is based entirely on Inspiring Overseer, which is not healthy. Because if you don't open Inspiring Overseer, you can't play the color white. Oh, you can use it to... Your opponent is holding your creature for ransom. And so you just put them in the limousine out of jail. As if you needed a reason to have white cards be awful. Hold for ransom is so bad. It is so freaking bad. Holy hell. Because I forgot about the Magpie, too. This Magpie, your opponent can just, like, flicker their own creature and put counters on it. You know. Holy moly. Alright, this card's a little bit better than I think, because I think you can just flicker your own creatures, right? It's probably fine. It's a lot harder. It's a... You know, it's more like a massive glass casket, right? Because I think... Like, Glass Casket was a fine card to have in your deck. Right? You know, it's just a Glass Casket. It's like a 5-mana O-Ring that can also, like, backdoor flicker, backdoor make up be a 4/4. Like, I don't know. It's probably fine. It's certainly better than freaking this. You know, it's certainly better than this, so. Hideaway. Oh, it's back. Hideaway is back. Okay, Hideaway 5, so... Look at the top 5 and put a card face down underneath it. And you put the rest on the bottom in a random order. That sucks. No more rigging your deck. Whenever you attack with one or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you may... Wait, what? So it's 5 mana, I attack with 3 creatures, I make 3 1/1s. Okay. And then next turn I attack with the 3 1/1s and I get 3 more 1/1s. I feel like 4 mana, this would be like a 9 out of 10. But the problem is it costs 5 mana. Yeah, it's like Legion, Assemble the Legion. But Assemble the Legion was like a 10 out of 10 in that format. You're talking about, like, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Assemble. Assemble the Legion was a 10 out of 10. It created 1/1 haste. This does not create 1/1 haste. It makes, you know, it makes 1/1s that aren't attacking. And you might lose creatures when you attack. Yeah, Assemble requires no setup and it easily won the game. Yeah, I think this card is probably bad. But I still think it's a playable card. I don't think it's embarrassing to play this card at all. Because the creatures are not attacking, which is actually, I think, upside. I don't think this card is bad. If you play this card, I would not begrudge you. No, I think it's closer to a 5. Maybe it's a 4. It plays really good defense. It, like, kind of gives your attacking creature lifelink, because, like, you're getting a 1/1 that can jump block. Right? Yeah, and your shield creatures can attack and it's safe. I don't think this card is embarrassing. It's certainly hard to deal with. Yeah, great, the 2/1 flyer like everything else is, no joke. Choose up to one. You think it's a 6? I don't think you always play Rabble Rousing. If you're like a white, blue, black deck that doesn't have that many like early drops, I don't think you play Rabble Rousing. I think if you plan on having 3 creatures and play on turn 4, then I think Rabble Rousing is pretty good. Elspeth Resplendent. Choose up to one target creature. It's a 5 mana 5 loyalty. Put a counter. Wait. Choose up to one target creature. Put a +1/+1 counter and a counter from among flying, first strike, lifelink, or vigilance on it. Oh, so you don't have to it should just choose up to. So if you don't have any creatures, you can still up it. Okay. Whatever. But so it's for exotic pets, right? So if your opponent has exotic pets in their deck, then you know that they have Elspeth. Elspeth loves fish, apparently. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a permanent card with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Boy, I'm going to really enjoy having lands with shield counters on them. Put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. Create 5 3/3 White Angel tokens, creatures with flying. Okay, I mean, yeah. It'll be hard to beat this card. If they have a creature in play, they plus it and then give it a vigilance or flying or whatever. They get like a 5/5 vigilance and they attack you, and they have a 6 loyalty planeswalker. It's gonna be hard to beat that. It's so much loyalty. Is over like the abilities that it grants are so powerful. Like first strike is so powerful in defense, and so is lifelink. Yeah, it threatens to ult 2 turns after coming down. You mean 1 turn after coming down? You mean 1 turn after coming down, right? Was you just gonna open a pool that has both, and then you make all those angels, and they all get +1/+1. The classic team up. What? Well, okay, this. Okay. Untap. Okay. Okay. Wait. All right. 3 mana artifact. 1 white. Tap. Untap. So you have to untap a tapped creature you control. Create a 1/1 green and white citizen token. 2 white mana, tap. Untap 2 tapped creatures you control. Draw a card. 5 mana, tap. Untap 5 tapped creatures you control. You win the game. So it's a 4 mana 1/1. 4 mana 1/1 that gives one of your creatures vigilance. Oh, it's 15? Untap 15 tapped creatures. Why did I say 10? Oh, because the other card referred to 10, right? This card referred to 10. Yeah, this card says 10. Untap 15 tapped creatures you control in the game. So why wouldn't you have just killed them with your 15 creatures? So that's flavor text. 4 mana 1/1. And vigilance. Maybe draw a card? Maybe draw 2 cards? That seems hard to do. This card is asking a lot. This seems bad. Sanctuary Warden. 6 mana 5/5 flying. Enters the battlefield with 2 shield counters on it. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. If you do, draw a card and create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Okay, so 6 mana 5/5 flying, shield, draw a card, make a 1/1. You can also attack and draw another card, make another 1/1. Seems good. You can see the rate of rain for the last cards. Yeah, my bad. Seems good. It's a reasonable 6 mana card. Doesn't have flash, that's right. It has shield, so like your opponent can't just like, insta kill it. It's certainly a pretty medium. It's not a Sun Titan, I'll tell you that much. Whenever you read the text, like re-enters the battlefield or attacks, you think of Titans, right? And this is certainly not a Sun Titan, but that's reasonable. It's a reasonable card. Like you remove like +1/+1 counters or shield counters from all your other cards. Draw cards too. Only once per attack, but it's a pigeon, maybe. That's a reasonable card. Might be an 8. I can see myself losing to this pretty badly. Yeah, so if your opponent blocks with 10 pigeons, 10-1-1 pigeons, you'll still only remove 1 shield counter and you'll kill 5 pigeons. Your opponent would have to be a smart person to block with 1 pigeon twice and then block with 8 pigeons afterwards to kill the Sanctuary Warden and the citizens it creates. I guess technically you'd only need 7 no matter what. Only 7 pigeons required to deal with the Sanctuary Warden. But not if you give one of the pigeons first strike, then you're talking real business. Then you don't need very many at all. You need like 6 pigeons instead of 7. If your opponent has 10 pigeons, they'd probably just attack you and kill you. You're probably right. An excellent point. It's a good thing that your Sanctuary Warden was there to make them think they needed to block when they could have just attacked and killed you. And while you were blocking the 1 pigeon with Sanctuary Warden, you were losing shield counters. But yeah. White looks terrible. White looks like basically, unless you open Inspiring Overseer and or multiple Gathering Throngs, there's like no reason to play white. Yikes. That's a yikers. White for gold cards, basically. White for gold cards and Inspiring Overseer. Sounds about right for white. Let's see if other colors are less disappointing.